She walked out of that job 6 months ago. And you know what her toxic boss said when she left? "I'm so sad to see you go. You've been such a valued team member." He had no idea, no clue that for the past year, she'd been systematically removing his power over her, piece by piece, so quietly he never saw it coming. By the time she handed in her notice, he thought everything was fine. He thought she was still under his control. She wasn't. And today, I'm going to show you exactly how she did it. How to handle toxic people without them even realizing you're handling them. Because here's the problem with toxic people. You can't confront them directly. You try to set a boundary, they gaslight you, tell you you're overreacting, that you're too sensitive, that it never happened the way you remember. You try to stand up for yourself, they escalate. They go nuclear. They make your life a living hell. You try to explain how they hurt you, they flip it. Suddenly, you're the bad guy. You're the one who needs to apologize. Direct confrontation doesn't work with these people. Their brains aren't wired for it. So what do? You go invisible. You handle them in a way they can't detect, in a way they can't fight back against. Because here's what I learned about toxic people's brains. They only notice big things, big reactions, big emotions, big drama. Small, quiet changes, they miss them completely. Their brain is hunting for supply. That's the term psychologists use for the emotional reactions they feed on. Your anger, your tears, your frustration. When you give them supply, their brain lights up. They're paying attention. But when you give them nothing, when you're quiet and boring and completely unremarkable, they don't even see you. And that's your advantage. So let me give you 5 tactics, 5 ways to protect yourself while staying completely off their radar. First tactic, the bore technique. You've probably heard of something called gray rock, where you act boring so they lose interest. But this is different. This is strategic boring. Here's how it works. They ask you a question, you answer, but you give them absolutely nothing to work with. They say, "How was your weekend?" You say, "Fine, pretty quiet." That's it. No details, no stories, no emotion. They say, "What did you do?" You say, "Oh, just the usual, ran some errands." See what you're doing? You're answering. You're being polite, but you're giving them zero ammunition. They can't twist your words if you barely gave them any words to twist. And here's the beautiful part. They can't call you out on it because you're not being rude, you're not ignoring them, you're just boring. And their brain, it gets bored. It starts looking elsewhere for supply. Second tactic, the slow fade. This is how my friend escaped her toxic boss. She didn't quit suddenly. She didn't make a big scene. She just started pulling back. Bit by bit, so slowly he didn't notice. First, she stopped volunteering for extra projects. Then she stopped staying late. Then she stopped responding to emails after 6 p.m. Then she stopped having one-on-one meetings unless absolutely necessary. Each change was small. Each change seemed reasonable. And by the time she was ready to leave, she'd already emotionally left months ago. He thought she was just busy. He thought work was overwhelming her. He never realized she was planning her exit. The key is patience. You fade so slowly that they think it's normal. Third tactic, the agreement that isn't. This one is genius. Toxic people need to feel in control. They need to feel like they're winning. So you let them feel like they're winning while you do absolutely nothing they asked for. They say, "You need to be more available." You say, "You're right, I should work on that." Then you don't work on it. They say, "You're not putting enough effort." You say, "I hear you, I'll try to do better." Then you keep doing exactly what you were doing. See, you're not arguing, you're agreeing. Their brain registers this as compliance, but you're not actually complying. You're just saying words that make them feel satisfied. And most toxic people, they won't follow up. They won't check. They just wanted you to agree. So you give them that, and nothing changes. Fourth tactic, the information diet. Stop telling them anything real about your life.
Toxic people use information as weapons. Anything you share, they'll use against you later. So you share nothing. They ask about your relationship, you say it's fine. They ask about your plans, you say you haven't decided yet. They ask about your feelings, you say you're good. Everything you share is surface level, safe, boring. Meanwhile, your real life, your real thoughts, your real plans, those stay private. You're not lying, you're just not sharing, and they can't manipulate what they don't know. My friend at that toxic job, she was planning her exit for 8 months, looking for new jobs, going to interviews, negotiating offers. Her boss knew none of it because she told him none of it. By the time she quit, it was too late for him to counteroffer, too late for her to guilt trip her into staying, too late for him to do anything. She had already won. Fifth tactic, the third-party buffer. Never be alone with them if you can help it. Always have a witness, always have backup. In meetings, bring a colleague. In family gatherings, stick close to safe people. In text conversations, copy someone else. Why does this work? Because toxic people behave differently when there's an audience. They can't gaslight you as easily when someone else heard what they said. They can't twist your words when there's a written record other people can see. They can't play victim when witnesses saw them being the aggressor. The buffer protects you, and the beautiful part? It looks completely normal. You're just being professional, keeping people in the loop, being transparent. They can't call you out for it without looking suspicious themselves. Now, here's the science behind all of this works. Toxic people's brains are wired to hunt for emotional reactions, big ones. When you cry, their brain releases dopamine, the pleasure chemical. When you yell, same thing. When you get flustered and defensive, their brain lights up like a Christmas tree. But when you're calm, when you're boring, when you give them nothing, their brain gets no reward, no supply. And just like any addict, they go looking for their fix somewhere else. You become invisible to them, not because they can't see you, but because their brain stops caring about you. You're no longer giving them what they need, so they move on to easier targets, and that's your escape. But I need to tell you something important. These tactics work, but they're not a permanent solution. They're a bridge, a way to protect yourself while you plan your exit. If you're in physical danger, don't be invisible. Get out. If they're escalating despite your tactics, don't wait around to see what happens. Leave. These strategies buy you time. They buy you safety. They buy you peace while you figure out your next move. But the goal isn't to manage a toxic person forever. The goal is to get free. So use these tactics, protect yourself, stay under their radar. But don't forget, you're working toward the day when you don't have to be invisible anymore. The day when you can just be gone. And here's what I want you to remember. Using strategy doesn't make you weak, it makes you smart. You're not stooping to their level. You're outsmarting someone who thought they had all the power. They think you're still under their control. They think you're still giving them what they need. They think everything is fine. And that's exactly what you want them to think. Because while they're thinking that, you're planning, you're preparing, you're protecting yourself. You're winning a game they don't even know you're playing. So, to everyone out there dealing with someone toxic right now, whether it's your boss, your partner, your parent, your friend, you have more power than you think. You don't have to fight them head on. You don't have to make a scene. You don't have to burn bridges before you're ready. You can handle them quietly, invisibly, strategically. And by the time they realize what happened, you'll already be free. Next time, I'll show you exactly what to do once you've escaped, how to rebuild, how to heal, how to make sure you never end up here again. But for now, just know this, you're smarter than they are. You see what they can't see, and that makes you dangerous in the best possible way.